Good morning. My name is Stephen O'Donovan. I'm here with Dr. Welch, Charlie Roseberry, and Karen Dweeb. And today's topic, we will be discussing waitlisting.
We will get started at 7:35.
All right. Course section waitlist. Everything you want to know, we're going to discuss today. Next slide, please. What is course section waitlisting?
Course section waitlisting is where the students can go into WebAdvisor or student planning, and they can pick out a class that they want to register for and find that it has been closed, full of students, no seats available, and the seat has a wait list. They have the option to add themselves to the wait list to wait for a seat to become available for them to register. The wait list is for those sections that have reached their capacity. Not all courses are going to have the option of a wait list. At this point in time, the only classes that we are waitlisting are face-to-face classes located on Central Campus. The classes that have separate lectures and labs are not being waitlisted at this point in time.
Who is eligible to waitlist?
Students that are not repeating a class or a course, students that do not need faculty approval or a petition, and students that have already met their course prerequisites.
Who is not eligible to waitlist?
Those students who are not requesting to audit a course section, and students who are currently already enrolled in the same course that they wish to waitlist.
What course sections are not waitlisted?
As mentioned before, the courses that have a separate lecture and lab, as examples, the biology courses that have a primary lecture and a separate BIOX lab time that are built as two separate sections, or distance learning classes because of the multiple changes that we do to their section capacities.
Student planning. How can students be placed on a wait list in student planning?
When the student is logged into their student planning account and they see that the capacity is full, when they view their student planning account, they have the option to add themselves to the wait list. On the example, you'll see that the student of this class already has one student waitlisted. It's just like registering for a course. Next one. When they add the class to the wait list, it'll populate on their student planning. It'll highlight the boxes that they've added in red.
How is the student notified?
The student will receive an email saying that they've been added to the wait list. It actually looks like they've registered for the course. Yeah.
The first email. How do seats become available?
There are multiple ways that the seats become available for a closed class, or the student can, multiple students in the class or a student that's previously enrolled in the class can drop. Students are dropped for non-payment, or departments can add additional seats to open up available seats.
Wait list, second email to the student.
Once a seat becomes available and the student, once a seat becomes available, an email will go to the student letting them know that a reserved seat has become available, and then they have to claim their seat. The student then logs into their student planning account. Up in the top right-hand corner on their planning, they will click on the Register Now button in order to enroll in the classes that were in red previously for them for their waitlisted class. At that point, they will then receive their third waitlist email that tells them that they have registered for their class and payment is required.
Student planning, display after the student has registered.
This just shows them that registration has been acknowledged and received for student planning and colleagues. It also shows them that they have the option to drop if it no longer matches their schedule.
How can staff add students to a waitlist?
If staff has the proper access to add the students in their waitlist, they have the option to, in RGN registration, they can either register the student straight through, they can add the student to the wait list, or they can cancel out.
Where can staff look in college to see which students are on waitlisted course sections?
On SWLM, which is staff with student waitlist management, you can look up individual class sections, course sections. Departments have the option to do this if they have the access. Staff have the option to also look here, and they can look at the class to see how many students are on the wait list for a particular section and where that student status is at, whether or not the student has been enrolled, whether the student has dropped or been given permission. The top portion tells us the students that are currently waiting for enrollment. The bottom portion tells us whether or not the student has dropped or been moved already or chosen another OS, would stand for another section enrollment.
Where can staff look in college to see waitlisted students continue?
This is just continuation of the previous screen. As you see there, it just shows multiple statuses where other students have already dropped or changed to other sections, pending student enrollment and active student enrollments. It's just a better view.
Waitlist options.
And this just gives an example of all the options of student statuses that are waiting for enrollment or section waitlist management screens. The WLAD report, this is an email that we set up on our processor that we run 3 times a day, Monday through Sunday. So even during the holidays and over the weekends during registration, this report runs, and it tells us that students are being processed from a pending status to permission granted while they're on the wait list. So even when we're not here, students that are currently waiting on a wait list, if a seat becomes available, the emails are being sent to them, letting them know that a seat has become available. They have the option to go out and register for their class, and it lets us know that permission is being sent to them, and they can go into their student planning account, register. So registration does not stop just because we're on a holiday, we're on the weekend. Registration flow continues.
What are the parameters and setup? And basically, this screen here shows what I do in the background. And you see the 2 highlighted screens. First one, allow court wait list default. It's set to no due to CTC staff faculty choosing which individual sections are to be waitlisted. And we do not want those individuals to do that. Okay, we want to control basically the individual sections to be waitlisted. The next yellow highlighted below, multiple sections default, is set to no in order to limit students from waitlisting multiple course sections of the same course. What that means is we don't want them signing up for History 1301 for 5 different classes. Select one and stay the course. Next slide, please. How many hours a student has to enroll in the course?
We set up the parameters so that we give sections, we give the sections 5 seats available on the wait list. And when the student receives their email, they have a 24-hour period to accept that seat and log into their student planning account and enroll in that class. So that 1 day equals the 24-hour period from the time that they receive their email.
What happens if the student does not enroll?
If the student receives their email and they don't enroll in time, their time will expire. So on the SWLM, you'll see they have the one of the statuses is a X for expired. So it'll just push them from their permission granted to an expired status.
How do you look up if a course section can be waitlisted?
On SROS, just like running a regular class roster, there is an option to print your waitlisted students. All you have to do is put a Y in there and it'll capture any students that are currently on your wait list, and you run your roster the same way otherwise. You put in your course, you put in your term, you put in your location, and you put in your class information, and then you run your roster, and then on the bottom of your class roster, it'll give you a waitlisted students area, and then it'll tell you any students that are currently on your wait list.
And basically, these are the two individuals that were responsible and did the setup and implemented the waitlist to the campus, Ms. Roseberry and myself. And I guess we can go into the question phase now.
You're welcome to chat in or talk if you have a microphone.
Okay, Charlie, can you tell me why distance learning classes aren't waitlisted?
So we don't waitlist the distance learning classes because the multiple, it would be hard to manage the multiple seat capacity changes.
I think you're referring to the primary section and then there's seats open in the cross district.
Yeah.
Because of the cross district section, it would be challenging.
Yeah.
Again, about that, I'm gonna highlight a 1.5 seat.
Well, also, only the primary section shows up on the website.
From my knowledge, sometimes.
Okay. Well, if a student not waitlist for that primary section.
I'm just gonna leave it on here just in case we did have to academic methods.
Okay,
That's why.
you have a primary section and then you have 4 classes. Yeah. Okay, for distance learning course. Why wouldn't we be able to still?
Okay. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us. Again, we close at 11.
If we were only adjusting the Warm Ed section,
8 p.m.
then we can wait the primary, because we move things from the primary constantly and up and down and up and down. There's no telling whether or not we would overfill.
Okay, I understand now. Okay. Right now, this semester we're finding that we have students on the wait list, but the departments are contacting the records office and they want students added to the section. Can you tell me what some of the pitfalls are?
Some of the departments are asking us to add students to a current class, and those students are currently on the wait list. One of the issues is that the students are, even though they're on the wait list, they may be the 3rd one in line. So they're overriding the 2 students that are currently ahead of them on the wait list. So.
Okay, we have some questions here from some of the people that have dialed in. If one of the questions is, we do not have access to the FNWL, who is the POC, so that they can get access, and what security questions do we request?
That's yours.
That would be me.
Okay.
But we have to look at, you know, the user end, do they get to view, do they need update to go in, because when you start looking at update, that's something that's very serious and basically can affect other areas, therefore it's very controlled.
Well, I think they're talking about, I think Kimberly's asking about, view access, so they can see the students on the waitlist.
Yes,
So-
view access is no problem.
Kim, we don't recall, I personally don't recall if we set up, a view access security plan, but we can do that.
Correct.
SROS will also tell you the students that are on the wait list.
It's, the inconvenience of SROS is you have to run it, it's kind of like a transcript, it takes some time.
Right, you have to.
And I don't know how many of the advisors have access to SROS.
It would be easy
Right.
just to go to view.
Yeah, that one screen would be very helpful.
That's something I can look at next week, just shoot me an email.
Here's another question, how does this work during late registration?
We don't do it during late registration, so we cut the, wait list off. The last day that the WLAD runs is on Friday, so that.
Before the Monday start date?
Before the month, no, so
Friday
registration,
before.
registration ends today. So web registration is through Sunday. So we cut it off today so that the emails will get there and give the students over the weekend to register, because late registration doesn't work on WebAdvisor anyways.
Correct.
So therefore, it's the same way. If the students can't register on WebAdvisor, then they can't register on they can't add a wait list on WebAdvisor either.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yesterday, a topic came up in reference to ESL classes. And basically, ESL classes are currently waitlisted. And we want to basically not waitlist those classes. Can you tell me why?
Because I think Eva might be able to chime in, okay? The ESL students have holds, they cannot register themselves, okay? And so only the people that have registration, the advisors authorize the class, and then the student goes to the records office generally, enrolls in the course.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
is that correct, Eva? Is Eva on the chat? I believe that is correct. That's the reason is that because they can't register themselves, so there's no reason to wait.
Okay. I can go in and remove those. That's it.
Well, if no one else has any questions,
Thank you. Have a great day.
thank you all for joining us.